Get to know your grocer. Get to know your local farmer. Do a little bit of research. Become their friend. They can tell you when they have specials. They can tell you when they have shipments. You also get to know really a little better about their quality than if you just kind of buy in a place where you don't know. You get to know the person. You get to know if what they're saying is reliable. And they also let you know, hey, this is on sale. Hey, we got too much of this. Always good to know. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Good Gut Feeling podcast, where we digest modern medicine with old world wisdom. Today, another exciting topic, very practical, 5 ways you can get your gut healthy on a budget. I hear from a lot of people that being healthy is expensive, eating healthy is expensive, wellness is expensive. Well, it doesn't have to be, and we can find ways how to eat healthy and still not break the bank. How can we do it? We're going to have 5 ways. Before we get started, quick order of business. This episode and all the other episodes are for educational purposes only. This does not take the place of your doctor's advice. Now we're back in business. Number one is frozen fruits and vegetables. Frozen is almost as nutritionally valuable as fresh. And it's cheaper to buy, it's available many different places, and it doesn't get bad in the fridge. So there's so many great things. Where can you buy frozen fruits and vegetables? First of all, should you get organic? Should you not? Organic is great if it's truly organic. In the United States, USD organic is 90% organic. Is it better to get processed foods that may have an organic label, or is it better to get conventional whole foods? Always whole foods are better. Always whole foods. If it looks like it came from Mother Earth, if it grew on the planet, if you can recognize where it came from, that's always the best. Once it starts looking packaged, processed, you're not even sure where it came from unless you can read the label, that's usually not good. So better is whole foods. Organic is sometimes better, but remember, you don't have to be perfect to be healthy. You do your best. You do your best. And number 1 is frozen fruits and veggies. You can get them at Costco. You can get them at Trader Joe's. You can get them at your local supermarket. You can get them at Whole Foods. They're significantly less expensive and are available for many different kinds of fruits and veggies. Broccoli, cauliflower, asparagus, you name it, is pretty much available frozen out of the veggies. Even mushrooms. There's great mushrooms, shiitake mushrooms. Sometimes shiitake mushrooms are hard to find. I've seen them frozen. Fruits as well. Pineapple, berries, mango. Amazing fruits and veggies. Many times organic, usually well priced, and you can use those for smoothies. You can use them for baking. The only things that may not be so easy to use frozen fruits and veggies are things like salads or just eating them, like munching on them. Sometimes for that you may want fresh, and we'll talk about fresh options as number 2. So what are possible fresh options, and how can we get those a little less expensive or a lot less expensive? Number 1 is seasonal. Buy seasonal fruits and veggies. Buy local fruits and veggies. They're probably going to be less expensive. Number 2, get to know your grocer. Get to know your local farmer. Do a little bit of research. Become their friend. They can tell you when they have specials. They can tell you when they have shipments. You also get to know really a little better about their quality than if you just kind of buy in a place where you don't know. You get to know the person. You get to know if what they're saying is reliable. And they also let you know, hey, this is on sale. Hey, we got too much of this. Always good to know. Another great option is slightly damaged fruits and veggies. For example, you go into Whole Foods, the banana has a bruise on it, or the apple has a bruise on it. They're going to have a hard time selling that at full price, and a lot of times they'll chuck it. So if you go to your local store, this may work better in a kind of a smaller store where the owner's there or the manager is involved in the finances of the store, for example, like a mom and pop kind of store. You can tell them, hey, I'd like to buy these. They're a little damaged. They might give you a great price. That's another option. There's also services. There's online services. We can order fruits and veggies that are not pretty, like misfits, for example. You can buy fruits and veggies that are like kind of weird shape. They don't look pretty. People may not want to buy them at full price, and they sell them at a discount. So who cares if they're pretty? We're going to eat them, so they should be healthy, but they are cost effective. Don't get things that are pre-cut. Don't get pre-cut watermelon. Don't get pre-cut apples or carrots because you're paying for that service. You are going to get something much less expensive if you buy it whole and take care of it yourself. And you know it's probably more fresh as well. So whole fruits and veggies, another trick. Go to the grocery store in the middle of the week because in the middle of the week, they often get their deliveries and they're trying to get rid of the stock they have. It's probably still good, but they don't want it to go bad, so they're going to sell it on sale. This is another reason to get to know your grocer because you can find out what days does that happen. Midweek is a good estimate. Number three way to get your gut healthy on a budget. DIY, make things from scratch. If you make things from scratch, number one, you get a product that you're in full control of the ingredients and you know that it's good. You know that it's healthy because you put all the ingredients into it. Salad dressing, for example. Don't buy salad dressing that you know, in a bottle. Make it yourself. And you don't need creamy dressings necessarily unless that's what you like because you can make a super easy, very delicious and healthy dressing with olive oil, lemon juice, lime juice, apple cider vinegar, salt, pepper. You've got a beautiful dressing. You don't have to buy the bottle. You can repurpose that olive oil. That olive oil can use for so many things, whereas that dressing, you have the dressing and only the dressing, and it's more expensive because they just made it for you. Mayonnaise. Mayonnaise is super easy to make. Do you like mayo? Mayo doesn't have to be unhealthy. Most mayo in the store is unhealthy. It does have a lot of oil, but if you use good oil, it doesn't have to be unhealthy. All mayo needs to have is eggs, oil, salt, some kind of acidic product like apple cider vinegar, could be lemon juice, and really that's really all that's needed. You could add different flavors if you like garlic. If you want to make garlic mayo, you could add mustard for flavor, and you get a healthy mayo. It stays in the fridge for a while. It must be refrigerated because it's typically raw eggs, although you can also make it with hard boiled, and you get a beautiful, healthy mayo. Another thing that you can make is nut milks. Most nut milks in the store are not so great because they have a lot of added ingredients, emulsifiers, oils. The only thing that a nut milk needs is water and nut, and maybe a little bit of salt or maybe a little vanilla for flavor, but really that's it. It doesn't need any kind of oils or chemicals whose names you can't pronounce. A lot of those products have a longer shelf life or a longer fridge life because of those. So when you make it yourself, don't make a lot because it is going to go bad faster. Maybe has 3 days, 4 days, 5 days to make a little bit, and all you need is a blender, a nut, and water. Some nuts require like a nut bag or like a cheesecloth to catch the debris. But for example, for cashew milk, all you need is cashews and water, and you don't need that. You don't need that because it really kind of gets suspended pretty well, and you have a delicious tasting cashew milk that I have yet to find a cashew milk as good and healthy in the store that you can make yourself. Make a little bit, 1 part cashews, 4 or 5 parts water, and you get a delicious cashew milk. It's cheaper, it's better, it tastes better. Really DIY. You pay for the service. Frozen meals, prepared meals. You don't usually get a good quality product, and you pay for that. So make it yourself. Make it yourself. Better to get tomatoes and tomato sauces. You can make beautiful tomato sauce. You can make pesto. DIY. You can get any kind of healthy pasta, for example, brown rice pasta, quinoa pasta. Make your own sauce. Your sauce really doesn't need to be anything extremely difficult. It could be oil, tomatoes, garlic. Pesto is very easy to make. Nuts, basil, garlic, oil, salt. Really very easy. You could add other flavors if you like other flavors, other spices. But once you make it yourself, you get a much cleaner and typically less expensive product. Number 4 is water. Water. Most water in the tap is not ideal for drinking because it has a ton of contaminants. It has a ton of chemicals. So we really want to get a clean water source. Water can be expensive, especially for buying spring water, high quality spring water, especially if you're conscious of plastics and you want to get glass. So it does kind of become more costly, but there is an easier way. First of all, reverse osmosis filters are less expensive than they were. If you get a whole system for the house, it can be thousands of dollars, but if you just get one for this, just drinking for the sink for one spot, it can be as little as $150, $200. And that is your initial expense. And all you have to do is pay for filters, which is a smaller expense, but still costs much less than buying water. Another great option. You bring your bottle to a place, to some stores, for example, Whole Foods has some of these stations, and bring a bottle and get it refilled because they have a reverse osmosis filter on site, and you can get that refilled for a much lower price if you don't have a filter at home. And you can bring a glass bottle. You can buy a glass bottle, which is less reactive than plastic, and you could bring that. The other option, if glass is too heavy, glass is much heavier, more cumbersome, you can get a plastic, one of those big 5-gallon. Some of those big 5-gallon bottles are BPA free, which is good. There's other things in plastic that is not ideal, but BPA is one of the worst. The water, you can get clean, good water for much less expensive than just buying, let's say, the beautiful glass bottles of water, which are quite costly. And number 5, we round up the list, is animal protein. Animal protein is probably the most expensive thing that we purchase as a type of food. And most of the meats and chickens, they're not sourced well. And even the ones that are grass-fed, for example, are typically not 100% grass-fed or grass-fed unless they say so. So the animal is still not necessarily eating healthy food for their whole life. And also, grass-fed is definitely better than GMO corn, but how healthy is that grass? Is it organic? So our animals are typically not as healthy as they were back in the days. And I have yet to find any one of my patients with great gut health that eats a ton of animal protein. So I know there's many different opinions on this. I truly believe we should eat either no animal protein or a little bit of animal protein, or in moderation, but definitely not with every meal. That's way too much. And it's also very costly because animal protein is probably the most expensive thing. But how can you get animal protein at a good price? One thing that's done very well in cans is fish. So you can get a wild salmon, you can get a wild tuna, and they're really high quality. And they're great fish, not so expensive. And then you could even do a little investigation about the cans. For example, Trader Joe's does not use BPA in their cans. Some cans are lined with BPA. Costco, for example, they have no comment that I could find on it, so we don't know if it is or not. But Trader Joe's, double checked, they claim they don't have BPA in their cans. They have a ton of wild salmon, wild tuna, sardines. Wild sardines are actually great for you. Small fish, low mercury, low toxic metals, and cheap. And you can really make them taste good. You can throw them in salads. You add a really great animal protein. This rounds out the list. Top 5 ways you can get your gut healthy on a budget. Don't have to break the bank to be healthy. You just have to put a little thought into it. It's not convenient. Convenience is usually not healthy. Even if you want to spend more, most convenient foods are not healthy. So stay healthy, stay gutsy, and I look forward to seeing you all next week.